What if I told you guys that life was just a series of random events? No guiding hand, no help, just chaos, chance, and uncertainty. It's unsettling, right? The thought that there's no higher meaning, no grand purpose for us. But what if I told you that this very uncertainty was the thing that made life meaningful? Albert Camus, a French philosopher, once said, "Should I kill myself or have a cup of coffee?" At first, this is absurd, even alarming, and not something I really want to hear on a Saturday, but the brilliance within this quote lies within its simplicity. Camus wasn't telling us that life isn't worth living, but he was more telling us to challenge the constructs of what we believe, of where we need to kind of confront the absurdity of life and believe that there's no meaning, but yet we must go on. And throughout this, Camus put a paradox for us of where we live in an indifferent universe, one that doesn't give us meaning or grand purpose on a silver platter. And yet, we must go on. This brings me to a concept I've came to really reflect on deeply, and it's the Groundhog Day routine of life, which is every day the only consistent thing is that we wake up. Some days we're handed opportunities, others we're dealt setbacks. But here's the thing I want you guys to believe with me. You don't really control what happens to you. What you do control is how you respond. My favorite comedian, Doug Stanhope, once said, "You cannot play in the middle of the road if you haven't seen the far curb." This itself is such a provocative idea. To truly live, he suggests that we must explore the extremes, to push boundaries. But here's the thing. I don't believe in this idea as an absolute truth at all. It doesn't really make any sense. Because you can play in the middle of the road, you can play in the curb, but you can also park your car, get out, and pee in the woods if you want to. And that's the beauty of free will. Free will is unpredictable in its sheer just randomness of you can really do anything. But for example, right now, I could be looking at all you guys and just start doing push-ups right now. But I don't want to see you guys see me struggle barely to make it to 10 push-ups. I don't want to do that at all. So that's what free will is. You have power to do anything, but it's really if it aligns with what you want to do and why you would choose to do that. And right now, I want to finish this talk strong and go back to the green room because we had brownies in there. This makes me reflect of where I've been through a lot. And I have to think that throughout this, I've always used free will. And with free will, it gives you agency to choose your own path. And choosing your own path hasn't always been easy, but it has been worth it. A few years ago, I went to Coastal Carolina University, and I worked for a program, Shots for Recovery. It was a substance abuse program at Coastal Carolina University, of where I met many students who thought they were burdened and in a hole of where they could not escape. And it's a tough place to be. I'm sure some of you in the crowd have maybe felt like that before. And it's just such a tough place to be. But over time, I watched these individuals get out of this hole. And not by making some profound revelation, but more of making small, deliberate choices every single day. And throughout this program, when I saw these students, it touched me. It touched me because somebody had to take a step. Somebody had to take that leap. And throughout this leap, it created a resource for many, many students to come to just because somebody took the leap. And what I believe is so many people are just scared of taking that leap. What if it doesn't work out, they may think to themselves. What if it does? What if it does work out? You have to think to yourself, in my terms of being a student, if I'm worried about a test that is next week, am I going to feel better just studying for it? Or am I going to feel better if I just skip it completely? You gain from the effort itself. While the result is uncertain, you will always gain from just moving forward. All right, now I want this to put this into terms that many people, especially the students, will recognize. Think about the dating apps our generation is so familiar with. You swipe left, you swipe right, and sometimes you get a match. But you have to think, you have to set yourself up giving the best representation of yourself, like it's a dating profile, and keep swiping right over and over and over again. You don't know if anything's going to click, but you won't know unless you put yourself out there. So, log in, put some pictures up, start swiping. And this has came to be very relevant in my life, whether it was overcoming stage fright, to my jump into stand-up comedy, to doing broadcasts for Charlotte, to working on political campaigns I never thought I'd be a part of. I took the leap. And people kind of overestimate the leap because it's not always a leap. It can be a step. What matters is you have to keep moving. In this so-called Groundhog Day, where each day may feel the same, we have to create life within the most randomness of existence, of where through these small deliberate actions, we can create profound ripples for ourselves to live a great life. And when you break life down into these small deliberate steps, it's a lot more easier for you. At Coastal Carolina University, I saw a resource built by those who chose to take a step, just a step, which in then result gave a leap for many students they could take to get sober. And within this, I've kind of just found this free will of where you can really just choose to better, choose to give back. And sometimes I just get stuck in the randomness, meaningless, mundane tropes of just life. But then I've understood the profound ripples of being able to put yourself in a place that you never thought you could be. And for example, me right here up on this stage, I never thought I'd be doing a TED Talk. If you asked me maybe 4 months ago, I never thought I'd be doing this. Me doing broadcasts for my school here, my comedy career, working on political campaigns. So tomorrow when you wake up, don't ask, what's the point? Ask, what's possible? Thank you.